And thank you, Peter, for this opportunity, and to the whole community and family of Power Monday. Good morning, and I am happy to be here. Thank you so much. Okay, so I know maybe some of you are seeing my screen written Kalush, and you're wondering I was introduced as Mercy Kalunge. Officially, yes, those are my names, but there are those of us with, I always hear Peter being called, is it PPO or PPO or something, you know, those beautiful names that people affectionately like calling us. So out here, especially in the space of therapy and happiness, people call me Kalush, and I'm happy with the name.
Yeah.
It's OPP. Yeah, so my equivalent
Yeah, well,
of
others call me OPP, others PPO, others whatever, but officially it's OPP, but Tieno Paul Peter. Thank you, Karibu. And
Yes,
they've not said
yes,
you are Rotarian.
yes. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so it's that's now affectionate names that make maybe at times easy for people to interact with us. And especially like you had, I also like interacting a lot with young people. So that names especially resonates in that space. But in the space of therapy and all that, it makes it easier for people to relate. And actually, it's people who gave me that name. So I am always happy to have it. So thank you again, and welcome all to this session today. We will be looking at happiness, as Peter said it. I like how you put it out there, but let's try and see how we can demystify it. So in the month of May, May is actually a very, very special month to me. And but most of all also is that it is the mental wellness month. So I wish us a happy month ahead. Someone says they want to see the whole of me. I'm not standing, so maybe I hope that is easy. That is better. I hope so.
Yes, that's better. You know, we were seeing just almost your neck up, leaving your whole screen blank. Go
Okay,
ahead.
okay. All right.
We are happy. We are happy.
Awesome. Thank you. So I want to start by just asking us just one thing that we can do, all of us, or just from a few of us. Can you recall a time that you really felt very, very happy? You know, you felt things were really good on your side and you were feeling happy. And uh, what was happening around that time? Maybe one or two people can just share. You can unmute. I believe every one of us has had that opportunity, whether at a personal life or maybe career-wise. Some people are close deals, anything. We can have just one or two volunteers.
People can put in the chat. Usually it helps us to manage better. If you won lottery, you can just write won lottery.
Okay. Awesome. Let's see those who won the lottery actually. Kama kuna mwenye amewin juzi hivi, so we can.
Yes. Yes, or you got married. Yeah, you know, I know some people get happy the day or the night or wherever they got married.
Yes. Or the day you got a baby, the first time,
Yeah,
anything. What could have
yes,
happened? So there was one
yeah.
launching. Yes, launching on my mom when I joined the psychology class after knowing that I am cut out from the psychometric assessment. When I gave birth to my firstborn, the joy was overwhelming. I felt very happy at the birth of my two children. Thank you. Yeah, I like this kind of comments. And truly, yeah, these are things that really make us very happy. I would say the first time I had an opportunity to travel outside the country. So for that first flight, yes, I can I can imagine how that feels.
Yeah. LG won a car. Yeah, I actually won a car from Tusky Supermarket. I should see you, Kando. I see how to win cars.
Oh
Yeah.
my, yeah, there's someone who won a car, Lineta. Oh my God. I pray that was really a joy. I felt very happy when I got my visa to the UK, moved to my own home. Yeah, I think all of us have such kind of things. Okay, now let me bring us now to the here and the now, where we are right now. At this very moment, we are at 7:30 a.m. in the morning on a Monday. So if I was to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you feeling right now? So where 1 is very sad, and 10 is very happy. Again, on the charts, we can just put that also to just see a measure in your own ones. 1 is very sad, 10, you're very happy. So we have 8, 5, 7, 8, 7. I like the people are measuring for themselves. They already know this thing. There is a 4. Hey, there is 1 is on your 10. That's wow. 9, 7, 7. Awesome. If I was to take this as maybe, the way we do like a sample and say probably this is likely to be, then today's powerhouse is very happy. So Peter, I think you're doing a very good job. You're with very happy people around. 7-ish, I like, so it goes to 6-ish or 8-ish, somewhere there, or 7 point something. So thank you so much for those scores. I'm really happy to see that most of us are feeling in high spirits, and that is really a very good thing. I know there's a reason for everything. So today I'll just be trying to see how we can demystify this happiness. Most people, when they hear your happiness coach, what do you do? What is this all about? Yes, a coach is someone who helps people to achieve something. And for me, in this space, I try to help people in this space of being happy, finding happiness. And so we'll be demystifying that, looking at what it looks like to be happy, and even what it is not, the many myths that we have around happiness, its benefits, and how we can really activate that. So I know many of us normally when we talk about happiness, and even like I've asked, how are we feeling in the here and now currently? Most of us may ask, is happiness really a feeling? Is it something that I'll feel so I can know that I am happy? So what we normally say is that the answer as to whether one is happy or not will probably be in how they imagine themselves feeling at that time. When, for example, someone is unhappy, what happens is that they remember some association of things that may have happened or things that have happened that can make someone not feel very positive and as negative feelings. For example, there are many times some people have coped with maybe sadness or things that are not working around their lives with, say, for example, when they go out drinking, you get drunk, and temporarily you're in a very happy space. You're the one on the stage singing and dancing. But then you go back and sleep, and tomorrow you wake up and the brain goes back and picks that's pain that was making you feel sad or something that was making you feel unhappy. And so you go back to the cycle again. So then what can we then say happiness is? Is it because at that point, someone in the night was looking very happy, dancing and all that, but again, in the morning, they go back into that space of feeling that they are not happy. So normally it is said that in this life, there are many of us who are trying to chase happiness. We are looking for happiness everywhere. And that's what I was saying, like how Peter introduced this session, could it be that we could be looking for happiness in all the wrong places, in the big cars, getting a bigger house, getting a car, perfect relationships where there is no tears, it's just crying and lovey-dovey, designer clothes, people wearing those 2 t-shirts that are, tule tunashika mwili nicely, or even for us ladies with our weaves and everything. Is that where happiness comes from? Now, what happens is that at times we have all these things, but then again, we still find like we feel inside of ourselves like we're running on empty, like we don't have the fuel, we don't have the petrol that runs the car. So something is just feeling like it's amiss. So what if then we say that this happiness isn't something that's it's actually found in all these things? What if it wasn't to be something you go out looking for, but something that you create from within, something that you build within yourself? And so these external factors may bring that temporary joy and that happiness that we call you'll actually find in trying to find the meaning of happiness. It has its own space also, but the long-lasting relationship, the truth is, it comes from within. Okay. Now, let me ask one more other question. I always like being participative, so bear with me. I want us to think about this thing, or just to reflect. If we had time, would have even made it a debate here. Do you think, is it very possible that people, for example, living in the slums could be very happy, yet people living in the leafy suburbs like Runda and Karen could be unhappy? So if you think that statement is true, people living in Kibera could be happy, those living in like Ruda could be unhappy. If you think that statement is true, write a yes. If you think it's not true, write a no. Let's see what we feel ourselves. So I can see there is yes, 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 no. At least there are quite a number of no's. I agree with the people could be living in the slums could actually be much happier. This is a myth. Happiness is personal. Yes, no. Okay, so we get it's actually a mix of feelings in this space. That those living out there in the slums may be happy. Some people feel, yeah, they could be happy. Others feel people in Runda are not happy. So it is a very interesting thing because as we look at what really exactly happiness is, I concur with the people who say, yes, it is very possible to be in the slums. And, because we think slums is, a place of, a lot of turmoil and a lot of, pain and things not working. And so possibly those people are never happy. Ruta is where we have like, we change cars, we change clothes, like you're on designer things and all that, but it is very possible, actually, those people could be very empty and very, very unhappy. And that's why many times, even in therapy, when people come in, we do not try to look at people based on maybe who they are, where they live and all that. Is the person within, because it's the person that is becomes happy from within. So happiness in itself now, it's not a destination. It's not something tumefika. This is the stage. Kushuka ni hapa. No, happiness is not a destination, but it is a journey. And so looking at how then we can cultivate peace and fulfillment in our everyday life is what really happiness is all about. Research shows that the ability to be happy is 40% genetic. So there are people who are prone not to just be happy. They are prone to genetically be a bit sad and all that because of how they've been wired. But the 50% is all within our control. So there's a huge, huge percentage of how we can control whether we are happy or not. And then there is normally a 10%, which is normally left out for things that can be completely out of your control. There's nothing you can do about it, and definitely they'll bring some level of sadness and all that. But the majority of it is to realize that we have the ability to make ourselves happy. So happiness in itself is truly a very complex and multifaceted thing. What we say is that happiness is a state. It's something that happens that makes you, I don't want to use the word feel, because feelings is the thing that you're trying to remove. It's not really an emotion. It's not a feeling, but a state of being, where you flow in a certain way. So there's a flow of energy in a certain way. And this flow of energy is well-being, contentment, and satisfaction with life. You feel inside of you, you're content with who you are, you're happy with who you are, you appreciate yourself for who you are. That really is what brings happiness within. And that's why we say it's from within. It's an energy. It's not something that, it's not exactly, if you were to look like vibrations of energy, for those of us who did physics, it's something that flows and it makes us to be in that state of feeling that we are in a good state. We are happy with who we are. We are satisfied with life. We are not running and always out there looking for the next thing that can make us feel happy. It gives us this. It comes out in the way our energy, that energy comes out is in like positive feelings, like joy, pleasure, a feeling of fulfillment. There are people you look at and you can tell this person looks fulfilled in their life. Yet it's not like they have so much. That's what we're talking about. So it can be experienced as an emotion. Yes, that's why we were saying it has that. And that's why happiness has an impact on how our mental wellness is, our emotional wellness, and even physical wellness. It's actually very, very key and associated with it. So it can be short-term and it can be long-term. And it can be influenced by many things. In psychology, we actually have 3 ways of what we call the subjective well-being. When we take a few things, even when someone comes in that space, we look at the the life satisfaction, like how content is someone with their life, with their career, how content are they with it at that point in time. And there's what we also call positive affect. This is being able to enjoy life and the relationship and connections that we have with other people. And then there is also the low negative affect. Again, this is about the feelings of worry, anxiety. You know, there are people who actually, it's almost like call them like magnets of sadness. It's very simple things can easily take them into the downward spiral of feeling very sad and unhappy. So that's why you're saying happiness can be actually short term, especially on the things that happen, especially when it's things we look out for, things that we do that bring us pleasure, or they make us avoid pain. And there is a name for it. It's normally, I think, called something like hedonic something, hedonic happiness. You know, it's short term, and things like, you know, like when you're doing self-care, you go like to a spa, you go to a kinyozi to make your hair for the men, or even for us, the salon, or you're doing our nails. We feel happy, and that is short term. But there is now the one that we focus on more, and which we say it's the long term kind of happiness. It's the DNA within us, that which continually helps us to be better people in personal growth, meaningful, you know, we are meaningful pursuits, you know, like we're looking for what is it that really makes me feel worthwhile and of value in this life? What is my calling? And when we start now getting into that space, then there is a difference in how our state within comes, because now we know we are born for greater things. Actually, we start now living a life based on virtues like kindness, courage, you know, moderation of situations. And what we're looking for is, how can I leave a legacy after myself? When we start now looking at that, then we start looking for long-term happiness. Now, there is also the way of looking at it from a mindset perspective. I'm very key myself, especially when in therapy and all our programs actually around that mindset and perceptions. How do we perceive things? So how does our mind think about life? So when we start, for example, and actually let me just give our base verse that we use in our programs, all our programs within Go Sky. It's Romans chapter 2, verse 2. I don't know whether anyone asked that. I didn't pull it out in time. Those people with that Bible, PPO, King J, thou, thou, thee. Anyone with that just can read for us. Romans chapter 12, verse 2.
Chapter 12.
Chapter 12, verse 2.
Chapter 12, verse 2. Just a second. So you said you want which version?
King James Version. Thou, thou, thee.
King James Version.
Thou, thou, thee.
Okay, chapter 12, verse 2. And
Yes.
do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. This is not sounding King James Version. But be conformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and the perfect will of God.
Thank you. Amen. And thank you for reading that for us. So when you see there is actually the part of now where it's short term conforming to the standards of this world, what our interpretation in this thing is, and bringing it as one of our key base verses, is to say that the standards of this world are actually very short term. That's why you find a lot of times we are chasing after the cars and, you know, those short term kind of pleasures, because it's the way the world has made us to understand this is it. And this, for example, you can see like in social media today, many people are coming with a lot of in a depressive state because of what they're seeing people doing. People are out there on holidays, people are showing their babies and how they're doing so well. And yeah, you're wondering, oh my God, I don't have even anything. Only to realize that people actually maybe don't have that quality of life. And I'm not saying posting on social media is wrong. I don't have a problem with it. But again, it is the perceptions that we have that maybe other people are so much better than I am. And that can actually make some people feel, you know, that feeling like you're not good enough. So it is possible for actually people who don't even spend time together and happy together, just for that camera moment, the Kodak moment, they are so happy and showing, this is it, this is where we are. And so it looks like this is it, but really maybe it is not. So the main thing of that verse, when we look at now the mindset transformation, where then we start thinking in terms of where does God want us to be? What is the perfect will of God for our lives? Then it brings a newness in our life that makes our life so much better and so much more engaging for the better of not just ourselves, but the whole world as a whole. So when you start living in a space where you can actually give others, then you start seeing your way of happiness becomes different. You're no longer chasing after, things that can easily go. And like even Paul in the Bible says, he had learned to be content with life when he has a lot, when he's in scarcity. And that is now that state that helps you to stay grounded in the same space. Let me give like an example. When at times, because I'm also human, at times I also become anxious. One of the things that I've learned to do is, like at times I remove my shoes, I just step on the floor, on the grass, on the swell, and then I just take my mind into an imagination that the same way I'm standing on that ground and feeling like I'm strong enough, like I'm not falling, then I also ground my emotions the same way. So these are some of like a practice you can do actually when you feel anxious. Just imagine that even those things those emotions that are making you feel maybe like you're not strong enough, how can you ground yourself in that space? And even using maybe like right now in the time of landing, if a small piece of paper maybe is put in some water, very little pressure will just take that paper away. But a stone will take longer. But now when you think about a tree and that is well rooted, maybe this flooding has actually left many trees are still standing because they're very well rooted. And that is the kind of happiness we're looking for. That despite the storms around us, despite the things that happen around us, can we still remain grounded in a state of happiness? And that state is not something that you feel, it's something that is, it's an energy that is created from within you. And that is the responsibility we have on ourselves. Now, many times, like I'm speaking like this, many times for us, so is there a place for people to have negative emotions? Yes, there is. You can actually not ignore when you're starting to feel negative or feeling sad or feeling things are not going your way. We are human beings, and that is actually very, very, very key. We normally say at times when you're so hurting from within, the only way you get out of it is to allow yourself to feel the emotions, so that when they're negative, you can understand, now I'm in a negative space. I'm feeling so hungry. I'm feeling like, so sad. What are that negative thing that you feel? Very important to feel it. Now, I know in this space, I may not be able to take us to that, maybe deeper into that, but I hope one day I will ever be able to take us through such, but now to deal with our emotions, especially when they're negative. And that is why you find now in happiness, more often than not, is in the midst of that negativity. Some of us are generally very pessimistic. You've had people who are always looking at is it the cup half empty more than the cup half full, that there is likely things that are going to go wrong and they're going to go right. So it's also to start now training our mind to start seeing things on the positive. What is even that silver lining in this darkness? What is any silver lining that I can find on this space? So when our minds start now seeing more positivity, being more optimistic, then we get ourselves to be more on the line of now finding the happiness. And so that's why we said it's a journey. It's not something, a destination here, sasa nimefika, I am very optimistic. It's a journey. At times you have to stop and talk to yourself so that you can take yourself back into that state, okay? So in case of any questions, we can be writing so that I can answer them as we go on. So I want us to just so that we can start understanding and demystifying this happiness. Maybe let's just say what happiness is not, some of the myths and things that people bring out to think this is it. So I know most of us are not on camera, but even wherever you are, just try to imagine you're trying to catch a butterfly, You can even try it in action, even though I can't see you, just try it. A lot of times you say when you do things, actually, it makes you remember it. So you're trying to catch it, but you can't, isn't it? More often than not, you can't catch that butterfly. It's so elusive. And the same thing we say with happiness. Every time you try to grasp it, like this is the happiness, I want to catch it, you actually cannot catch it. That's where we find like people chase after money, chasing after power, chasing after beauty. You're always looking for, remember we said the short term and long term, none of them is wrong. But what happens is that many times we are out trying to catch it. And what happens is that it's like we engaged in a rat race, always looking for what can make us better. How can I be able to get more cars? Never having enough. It almost becomes now what we call greed. You have this clothes, but you want more and more. So your wardrobe is from, and ladies, especially for us, I'm not again against it, but it's just to know, why are you doing this? It's the why around it that makes the difference. If you're looking for green, red, blue, you have 10 blue handbags, 10 white handbags and all that, trying to see whether that can make you happy. Maybe not. You may find actually someone who carries only one handbag and is very happy, because the state from within them, it's one that flows with optimism, flows with positivity about life. But you can have all these things, but you can still be very, very empty. So like we say, one of that is then to say that happiness in itself, it's not something you can really be able to grasp and hold like this. Now, it is like we said, it's not an emotion. It's not something that we say now, even though we say at the moment I'm feeling so happy and all that it's not the emotion. You can't live a happy life if you equate it to always that emotion of excitement. You're always excited. You see, because when you always ask, is it something you can actually sustain? Is it sustainable to be always excited and all that? And yet we already say there's a place for negativity in our lives because we are humans. So because that cannot happen, then we realize that it is that positive energy that flows within us. It's not the emotion, but a state of energy that is positive, that allows us to the state of mind to see good things even in the midst of bad things, when things are not going okay. So it's not really an emotion. It's like the way we say love. Love is not also an emotion. Love is something that you create. It's something that you build. Equally, happiness is the same. It's not an emotion. Equally, happiness is not about perfection. Again, there's this thing we normally feel like, when I get this, or when I become this, when I become slimmer, I will be happy. When I learn this dance style, I'll be happy. When I get promoted, I'll be happy. It is not perfection. It's not having all things right. And that's why we say the time to be happy is now. It's time. Actually, one of my programs that I run, it's time. So it's time. Be happy now, because it's not about what will happen then. So starting this very moment, whatever is going on in your life, what can you try and show your mind that there is something good out of it? You'll start seeing maybe there is a change within you, inside of you. So we don't become happy. It's normally said we are not happy because everything is perfect, but everything is perfect because we are happy. I hope you got that. We are not happy because everything is perfect, but everything is perfect because we are happy. So the moment you are actually, in other words, is to say happiness comes before before the perfection of things. Things are likely to go right, but because you're happy. Now let's think of an activity. I hope for those of us who are seated, I know it's not going to whatever. You can close your eyes if you want to, or you can just look through, but let's just do a small activity. I want us to imagine we are like 10 of us, and we've been told there's some treasure of gold somewhere, and it's about 2 kilometers. We've even been told the direction is this way. And so the 10 of us starts on the path. So we know it's about 2 kilometers. Now, along the way, as we are going, we come to a place where there's many paths. Path 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 paths. And so each one of us takes a path. So now you take a path, and you start walking, believing that you will get your goal that side. So you start walking. Then as you walk, you realize, hey, this walking, I must have done like 2 kilometers and already done one. So with one more, I should have found it. So what does that mean? You detoured. You took the wrong path. So what would most of us do? Again, you can type on the chat. What would you do if you realized that you were going to look for this gold? You knew the direction where it is, but unfortunately, you realize you took the wrong path. What would you do? Maybe 1 or 2 people can just say, or now that you said we do chat, I hope it's easy to write, or I normally don't mind if someone also speaks about it.
Yeah, we can do chat. If somebody feels strongly they want to speak, they can just raise up their hands. Normally, we control speaking because it becomes a little chaotic. You do not know who is saying
Okay.
what. Yeah.
All right. No worries.
Yeah. People can put in the chat,
so
or
there's someone who
can raise
says,
up the hand, and then we will pick it.
Yeah, someone says they would give up on the path until they reach. They wouldn't give up on the path until they reach their destination, okay? So if you're not giving up, that means you'll walk, 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 but it's okay. That is the way you would take it. There is no right or wrong answer in this space. I wouldn't give up on the path until I reach the destination. Probably let me just read for us 3 parts that could maybe happen. So there's someone who will feel so upset that they wasted their time and then they just decide, let me go back home. Someone else decides, I'll just go back to the crossroad and try another route. That is B. And then they see someone would try and retrace back their steps, but along the way, they try to see how this journey will be enjoyable. Notice the flowers, the trees, the rivers, the birds. I know there are some of us who have not seen a bird in a long time. Maybe because we don't do these nature walks, we don't even the sound itself. So which one would you take, A, B, C? You feel very upset, you wasted your time, so I go back home. B, I go back to the crossroad and try another route. Or C, I retrace my steps back, but as I go, I just slowly, I'm not even interested in reaching back to taking another path. I just want to enjoy the path that I took and just be happy in it, watch the bands, do whatever. Which one would you take? Let's see again on the chart. I can see B, B, C. They C. Okay, as they continue coming, there's B, C. There are those who would go back and try another route, and there are those who would want to just enjoy the route. Whether you find that gold or not, it doesn't matter. Now, let me say this. A lot of times, though, the moments that we feel anxious, we are stressed, even the state of depression, clinical depression itself, it is because we are in that rat race of looking for the gold. And then we feel like at times we miss, many at times, and if we end time to talk, there's a lot of times we miss that part. So when that happens, then we go down. Our happiness goes down. Our level of joy goes down. It's that elusive goal. So if you actually took the part 3, you just retrace, you can start retracing whatever, but in that moment, this time now, I can be happy with what I have. Then that makes a whole big difference. Probably if you remember that, you're likely to see a lot of changes in what you do. So also happiness is not about the absence of hardships, especially like we say with our parents and even ourselves who are parents. I know we try to really protect our children a lot, and even us, maybe we've been protected a lot. So we don't allow them to see things like we say our days we really struggled, but watoto wangu, they cannot go through this. But one of the key aspects of happiness is resilience, being able to overcome hardships. It's actually very key factor in being able to be happy. So when things don't go right, how do you go about it? So resilience is being able to face even those ugliest human experiences with openness, understanding and acceptance. Yes, this is what there is, this is what has happened. And so that resilience is also very key. And even as we go through hardships of life, is not to try and avoid them, is to look at them and understand, how can I get myself out of this? Then also, it's not about doing the right thing. Like the way we have, I remember there's a movie, those days, the people of our days who can remember, there was a movie called The Rich Also Cry. And so, which means even when you have all these things, you can also cry. People of my age can remember that, it was in KBC those days. But let's imagine, like you can have someone who seems to have everything. Let's say let's put it like a lady. She was a good girl, got A's, got a good job, got married to the right person, has angelic kins, and is doing a dream business. But yet, they still feel miserable from within. What makes someone then starts running on empty? So again, it's not about doing the right things. And that's why we are saying demystifying happiness, so that we don't then stay in a space of thinking, if I have this job, if I do this, I'll be happy. Not at all. That it is very possible there are people who seem to have it all, but they don't. Now, one of the things I know, I like talking to when at times you're just dealing with like us as parents, do you know it is very possible you may not have been a well-off parent, and even some of us who are here at this moment, and probably we want the best for our kids and all that. Yes, we bring them up. When they grow, they become kids who are like PPO, who are doing great things like these and others. And then you could also have like a very rich parent, but unfortunately their children become like addicts or just destructive behaviors in society. If you think between these two, actually the parent who may not have enough may be more happy, actually is happier than one who is dealing with these other things. So that's why it's saying it's not about the perfection of life, yeah? And some of us, especially ladies, I know there's this thing we normally say, I would rather cry in a Mercedes than laugh in a bicycle. I am not here to say which is right. I prefer always to see what people think. Is it better to cry in a Mercedes than to laugh in a bicycle? I think that again is somebody's, it is somebody's how you see it. But again, for me, what we're saying is happiness because it's a feeling. Even if you're on a bicycle, actually you could be happier than someone who is in a Mercedes and is very empty. It's the emptiness, the void that brings that sadness and all that. Equally, sadness is not given. There's no one who is like where we say these people, them, because they live in Ruda or whatever, they're happy. No, everyone has a chance to be happy. Everybody. It is an opportunity for everyone where you are right now. It doesn't know it, you don't have to wait for tomorrow. Happiness is within your reach. It requires effort, it requires commitment. So if you start working on your happiness and building that state within you, you can actually be. And that's why we say, take charge of your own journey. It is yours. So when we say, is it something that you already have or something that will come or will not come? It is for you. Okay, so let me just quickly say some of the ways you can see, start knowing that you're in a happy space. More often than not, irrespective of the things that are happening around your life, you're more within the positive feelings and negative feelings. And you can see that like people who are, when maybe you're always moody or not moody. So the many chances you find yourself, even in the midst of bad things happening, you can still be able to be grounded in a positive mode. And then there is also appreciating small things in life. We also tend to be in more healthy relationships with other people when we are happy. We are more satisfied with our life conditions, and we are not always, being greedy for getting everything because that's what feels like what makes you happy. We are also happy for other people's achievement. Even those people who have not been on your side, you're happy for them to achieve because you're on a higher state than they are. Down here, there's a lot of competition, a lot of, backstabbing and all that. But in your higher state of happiness, you let people be, and you know you're the state that you're in. And then you prioritize that in your life. You live in the present. You know the past is gone. Even the few minutes that have gone are in the past. They are gone. The future is a mirage. You live in the now. It is time. It is now. So that helps you to stay grounded and to stay calm. Now, why it is so critical to be happy? I think one of the things I can say, because this comes also in our, like even in organizations, one of the things we've always said, like, let me say like our ghost guy, our slogan is giving you wings of success. So one of the things that we find is that even in organizations, happiness fuels and it precedes success. Many people, like in organizations, even in business and even personal life, you're trying to really be successful and whatever success means to you. But we are thinking that the only way we can be is by being happy, it's by getting success, then we're happy. Again, just like perfectionism, happiness precedes success. When you're happy, you're likely to find yourself thinking better. You can handle situations better. You can be more creative. You create healthier bonds and friendships with people because at that point, you spend more better energy, you spend more positivity. And so even within working spaces, we normally say, actually, like when you're doing wellness programs for staff, we normally say happy people bring or is equal to stellar performance, productivity, and profit. So if you're in business and you want your profit to go higher, there's a lot of maybe trying to show people this is how you do things, and that is okay. But one of the key that is not tangible is happy people. When you have happy people working for you, actually your results even for business are likely to be stellar. I mean, people will be more productive, they'll work better as teams and all that. Happiness also lowers the stress levels and burnout. There's a lot of burnout, and it's not about what we've achieved. That's why people who have a lot, if they were always happy, they wouldn't be burnt out. So burnout and stress also comes along, but now happiness also helps in reducing that level of stress. There's also productivity and creativity. Have you ever noticed that actually when you're at peace, when you ground yourself and you're calm, even in the midst of situations, you're able to think better, you're more creative, you become more productive. So that again is the state that you're looking at so that you can be more productive. It's also normally said, as we avoid stress, then we lengthen our own life expectancy. And we all here to live. So our overall health becomes better. And also happy people are normally more generous. So I want just to say, as I come to a conclusion, just to give a few things that you can do so that you can find your happiness. The first thing is healing your inner child. All of us have a child within that most likely could have been hurt in the past. I know this is a big topic, and one of these days, maybe I'll just tell you, like I normally announce other things when you're doing this, but that being able to have that emotional release of the past, the things that never worked for us, that have put us on very limiting beliefs. Remember, happiness is a journey. So in this journey, is trying to find out where did things really go wrong? Where did we stop loving ourselves and that kind of thing? So that helps us to be able to be in a space of, going back to the playful us, the baby that is in us, the small girl, the small boy in us. Then there is also exercises and sleep. I think that one I wouldn't even overstretch. Like I said, go out there, see the bands. A healthy body fosters a happier mind, okay? Then pursue your goals. What is your purpose? What are you born for? There's this thing, I like it. There's something one of us shared in the group for Power Monday. Ikigai, what is your purpose? What are you born for? People who live in their purpose, like PPO is doing right now, I believe is much happier. I believe. Then we have also better connections, even in relationships, they become better. One of the things I can say, healthy relationships is where you look out, be with people who make you feel good, they value you, they see you for you. Don't be around people who are always making you walk on eggshells. They're not your oxygen. They'll always deny you of your chance to be happy. So, like, I remember there are times I used to be, when I was in a hard space, I would go to a children's home. When I see and hear their stories, I'll be like, oh my God, these children, some of them were thrown even in dustbins, and here they are, smiling. You start seeing yourself in a better space. And then also a value system, what really matters for you? That is one key thing that I like asking, what really matters for you? Then spirituality, connect to a higher being. We are all spiritual. So to be able to get to that, is connecting to a God. For us who are Christians, connect to God and whoever it is, so that you can be able to get into that space of where you can even live a life of gratitude. You rewire your brain to always see positive and see things which are better than always going wrong. Be able to give thanks for small things and big things are alike. Then there is the self-concept about our self-image, our acceptance, how we talk to ourselves and that kind of stuff. So in summary, I just want to say this. Let me first read a quote from somebody called Sanku. I think some of you have heard of him. To be happy is not the ultimate aspect of life. It is the fundamental aspect of life. If you are not happy, what else can you do with your life? Only if you are happy can other great possibilities arise in your life. And Anan is one cannot truly make others happy, but you have a role to make yourself happy. So start working on your happiness. So don't dwell so much on the past, always worrying about also what the future holds. Let's live in the moment, finding simple, joys in simple things that happen in life. So happiness is about being optimistic, being resilient, having a positive mindset, having hope and wanting to leave a legacy in the life that we are in. So I want to finish there and say, as we go into the week, I wish you all peace. Even as Jesus left us with peace, I wish all of us a peaceful and a happy week ahead. So I wish to finish there. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks, Peter, for this opportunity.
Thank you so much. That was good. So on to questions. From Christine, UK. Are our children short-term happiness? And
Whether
then
children,
are our children a short-term happiness?
what does that mean exactly? Is it being with children? I'm not so sure I get that very well.
I
I
think
think it's because you said there are short-term happiness and long-term whatever. So getting children or something like that, is it long-term or short-term? I just want to believe. But Christine is here. She might explain if she's able to.
Okay, maybe let me try and imagine what she's asking. First, one of the things I want to say is happiness is dependent on every person. What makes you happy is not necessarily what makes me happy. So everyone asked there, that's what I asked, what really matters to you? being able to understand what matters to you. Like I am a parent myself. My children are very, very key. Now they are grown, they are adults. They're very, very key to me. So living with them has been one of my key focus on them. Now, for me, the way I see it, children for me would be long-term because I have done everything that I can to ensure they're okay, they're happy. My desire now as they get into adult life is that they can be able to have their own happy lives out there. When they gain that, for me, I am in my happiest space completely. So for me, that is long-term. I hope I've been able to answer. I think when I mentioned parenting is about where at times we as parents to protect our children too much, that the hardships of this life, because we don't want them to be unhappy. You see, the whole thing, everything we do around our lives has this thing of happiness going on at the back of our minds. So when we overprotect them, when we don't allow them to face some of the things that actually many of my generation say it is because of this that you're in this space, in a better space, how are they going to handle hardships, especially when you may not be there with them? When they become adults and leave your nest, they're going to be handling things by themselves. They go face life and they will not tell you every day, this is what I'm going through. Not at all. Now they're past toddlers. You're not holding their hands. Can they be able to survive in those moments? Now, as a parent, if you brought up a child who is able to survive and is resilient out there, I believe that is long-term happiness for us as parents.
Thank you. Trizamboro says, comparison robs us 50% of happiness. How can we abstain from comparison?
Okay, I'd like to answer that in one of the things I called self-concepts. In psychology, we call it self-concept, which deals with our ideal image, self-image, acceptance, self-esteem. Now, when we said happiness is creating, we create happiness from within. So when we create the version of ourselves that sees ourselves as great people, you know, like the way you do affirmations, I'm great, I'm powerful, I am beautiful. And the more you repeat them, they stick in the mind. Remember, we also talked about mindset because the mind thinks, when the mind thinks, the more you think about something, it creates an energy, which is a feeling, which is an emotion, which is now where the heart comes in. Now, the more you feel something, then it now creates a behavior. And that's now we see on the outside. So if you can actually allow your mind to keep thinking good things about yourself, even when you feel, I missed on that deal, I'm not good enough, the other people work better or whatever, I'm not even had some, that's why I was not given that deal, I don't have a car, that's all those negative thoughts. If we try to now translate that or push them to the positivity, it is not an easy thing. That's why I say that it's a journey. Push them into the positivity, start seeing yourself as capable, as powerful, as being able to, in your space of what happiness is, then those thoughts will be created into an emotion. You'll start feeling good about it. And the more you start feeling good about something, you realize even your demeanor on the outside starts showing, you know, like the way we say someone is glowing, like when people fall in love, it's because their thoughts start going into the good spaces. They're feeling good, and that feel good, we start seeing it in the glow. We start seeing it in the physical realm. I hope I've answered that also.
Thank you. Yes, you have. What is the role of unresolved grief in our happiness quotient?
What is?
What is the role of unresolved grief in our
Okay.
happiness quotient?
Thank you. That's a very good question, actually. You remember we talked about healing the child within. Normally, it is said that, you know, when a child is born, we see them like a blank white page that has not been written on anything. But as we grow, things are being written on us. That brain, that inside is being written things, good and bad things. And what happens as children, at times, to protect ourselves, we form walls, thick walls, we form things to protect ourselves. And that's why we have like what we call attachment styles. We have those who are avoidance, we have those who are anxious, we have those who, you know, such. So that's when now we start becoming that, what happens is that we don't allow ourselves to be open-minded, to be easy like a baby, to be playful, and that actually becomes a stumbling block into our happiness. We are always very suspicious of other people. Remember, one of the things we said, how you can know people are in a happy state is like they relate well with people, they show this feel genuine and genuine. We're not talking about those fake ones, genuinely. So for you to be in that genuine space of being you like a baby, then we've got to start clearing those things that affected us in the past. And this could have been when we were children. It could also be as we have been growing up. When someone was a teenager, for example, went to school and you were bullied, that already is in your subconscious mind somewhere. How did you protect yourself? So did you start avoiding people? Did you start being suspicious of everyone? You can't trust anyone. Those are blocks to one's happiness. So yes, being able to heal that wound, those wounds within us, whether they are parental wounds, whether they are just whatever wounds that are within us, and the things that we pushed into our subconscious, which always arise or are triggered by things that happen, especially in relationships, then we can be able to be happier. But until you're able to do that, remember, it's a journey. Until you're able to start working on that, we are going to start staying in that space of unhappiness more.
Okay, thank you. I still have so many questions, and and actually time is over. So, I'm pretty sure I will what I'm going to do is I'm going to forward these questions to you on the chat, on Power Monday chat. But there's just one quote that I want you to finish. You said, "We are not happy because everything is perfect. We are happy because..."
No, we are not happy because everything is perfect, but it is the happiness that
Everything is
makes
perfect. Everything is
is
perfect because we are happy.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Sashi Wainaina, we are not happy because everything is perfect, but everything is perfect because we are happy.
Yes, everything is
Thank you.
perfect because we are happy.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. The rest of the questions I'm going to forward them, and then you can respond to them, because we are out of time. But one of the things that I have learned personally is I've learned to speak to myself, because I realized that not every time there's going to be someone for you to even talk to. Just the way the Bible says that, and David encouraged himself in the Lord, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. I have learned to speak to myself a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Very many times I even sit myself down, and the way David asks his soul, "Why are you downcast, O my soul?" I mean, those are some of the conversations that go through my head, or at times I just like even verbalize it. You can think I'm talking to someone in the room, but I'm alone. I'm asking myself, "Noel, why are you downcast?" So I think also at the end of the day, when you feel like you're flipping to that side of depression, you're not happy and everything, sit down and take stock of your life. Sit down and take stock of your day. Like, what is causing me not to be happy? What is it? So yeah, let's learn to talk to ourselves. Let's learn to reach out to ourselves even before someone else reaches out to us. So I call upon Dr. Melvin Glimmer to give a vote of thanks.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Mercy, for that wonderful talk. I'm so happy to be here thanking you, Mercy, because I've seen the transformation that you have undergone back from our days at Parklands Baptist to now. I respect you for your financial acumen, for the fact that you're a trained accountant who's worked in the banking sector and who has taken the road perhaps less traveled by most of us into becoming a happiness coach. You exude happiness and you infect everybody that you interact with happiness. All of us in this call have benefited from listening to you and learning at your feet. We are going to be happy people this week and for the rest of our lives, just because of Mercy. Mercy, I can't thank you enough on behalf of the whole Power Monday team. We can't get enough of you, and I'm sure you have programs that will benefit members of this particular team. because this is a team that is committed to continuous learning. We love learning. We learn every Monday, and this Monday we've been privileged to learn at your feet. So we are leaving very happy people, and in the background, we have some very happy people from Power Monday. These include Odhiambo Lale, Noel, Hassani, and OPP,
Antonia.
and Antonia, who have been working tirelessly to put this morning together. They are very happy because you have made them happy, and they have made you and us happy. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you. Mercy, and God bless the whole Power Monday team, and God bless everybody who is in this call. Back to you, Noel.
Thank you so much, Dr. Melvin. I don't know what was happening. My cursor was not like working for a moment. Sawa sawa, Uteno Paul Peter, kindly close for us.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Noel. My network has been unstable, but I am very grateful to Mercy. When we talked, I suggested that that would be a wonderful topic to start the month of May, which has something to do with mental awareness. We just want to be happy. We do not want to focus on the sadness and all the things that are happening. We just want to keep our we just want to keep our focus on that which is like that reading was saying. We focus on that which is true, that which is lovely, that which is empowering, and all that. So thank you very much. For people joining for the first time, as we said, two things. One, we have a YouTube channel slash at Power Monday, which you can always get all these recordings plus the previous ones, and you can subscribe and support. Two, we have a uh, we have a charity. We have charity activities that Power Monday does, and your support to this will go a long way in doing exactly that, as we plan for our next charity in July. So, any support we have put there, the means through which that can happen, and we will be able to appreciate. Thirdly, we have started welcoming sponsorship. If somebody wants to sponsor, your organization wants to sponsor a session, you just reach out through the email address provided, powermonday@liveyourdream.co.ke, and we will reach you accordingly. It's very simple and easy. Otherwise, we welcome all of you. We do this every Monday, every single Monday, as long as it's not a public holiday in Kenya. And we are happy, and this is part of the reasons that keep us happy, that we are making a positive difference in the lives of people. Thank you all. Have a blessed week. Stay productive, stay happy. Until we meet again next week, we are going to learn about authenticity in leadership by a gentleman who spoke to us here a while back, probably 3 years ago, and he was very powerful. He's coming back. He's happy to be with us next Monday. You do not want to miss that. For people who want to join the Power Monday WhatsApp group, I had put a link. You can fill in the form there on liveyourdream.co.ke/Power Monday. Liveyourdream.co.ke/Power Monday, and somebody will be able to act on that. Thank you very much. God bless.